Welcome to another episode of Planet Startup Stories. This podcast channel is a platform to share to the rest of the world the amazing stories of our partner organizations all over the world. And today, we're so glad to have with us the Planet Startup National Director of Zambia, and he's also the founder of Charity Center for Children and Youth Development, Mr. Alex Bwaluka. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Levi.
How are you today?
Fine, thank you. And how are you?
Right. How is everything there in Zambia now?
Wow. In Zambia, we're still battling with the coronavirus, with the third virus, which has really affected our country. As I'm speaking to you right now, we are mourning our first Republican president. And just yesterday we had the national, the morning day for our first Republican president, and most of the dignitaries from different countries around the world were in attendance to give their last respect to the founding father of our nation.
Yes. And we are praying and hoping for better days ahead. Technically, the rest of the world as well, we're not out of the woods yet. This global health crisis is still very much apparent. And with that, we will be discussing how, this pandemic has impacted your projects there in Zambia. So, Alex, all right. To start off, okay, can you give us a backgrounder on your partnership, your charity, your foundation's partnership with Planet Startup? How you started organizing these projects in partnership with Planet Startup Inc. Also, and why child literacy? Because this is your main advocacy.
Thank you so much, Levi. As you have already introduced me, I'm the Planet Startup National Director for Zambia, as well as also the founder and the executive director of Charity Center for Children and Youth Development. First and foremost, our partnership with the Planet Startup is something that came at a better time when our country is battling with unemployment. There's high level of unemployment in our communities. And in our quest to enhance entrepreneurship skills among young people, we searched for people that are doing programs empowering young people with skills. That's how I came across the Planet Startup, and also did the initial inquiry if they are willing to come on board. Lucky enough, I got in touch with Dr. Gerard, who is the founder of Planet Startup, and we started a discussion that was in 2018. So the purpose why we are looking at the financial or the literacy aspect for the children, because we understand that the entrepreneurship programs, if well coordinated and managed, it has the capacity to improve the livelihood of the people. As you are fully aware that in most of the governments, the government from around the world, unemployment is always a challenge. And the reason is that unemployment can only be fought when we help the people to help themselves by using the skills at their disposal to earn a living. And this is where we found the story and the idea about Planet Startup in terms of enhancing the capability of young people to venture into small businesses by teaching them the necessary tools and skills on how they have to utilize the current technological advancement in terms of venturing their business either online and also using other tools to earn a living through business is something that inspired us as an organization and prompted us to make sure that we partner with the Planet Startup, because their mission and vision is also in line with what we believe in as an organization.
Exactly, exactly. Because Planet Startup has been very active, okay, very active in helping disadvantaged young adults all over the world overcome unemployment and poverty by way of entrepreneurship, capacity building.
Exactly.
Yes, capacity building. We are strongly advocating that here in Planet Startup. And so, what was your first project technically with Planet Startup?
Yeah, when we first did our formalities with the Planet Startup in 2018, our first activity at first was that we had to organize the first class. And of course, it wasn't easy for us to organize the first class because by then, where we were conducting the training in the western province of Zambia, we had no classroom by then. So we had to approach different government departments and also introducing Planet Startup to the government offices, explaining the vision and mission of the Planet Startup. And that's how we were given an old building in Western Province, which is Mongo district of Western Province. Then we were, of course, in touch with Dr. Gerard about the challenges that we were facing in terms of organizing the classroom. But of course, we were managed to collaborate with the Ministry of Community Development under the Social Welfare Department, who offered their boardroom, let me say their conference room, which is also being used as a church to organize these activities, and we approved. And we discussed this through Office of the Permanent Secretary that gave a directive that let our organization and Planet Startup be allocated space at community development, which was really giving a clear direction for the program. We are also linked to the Ministry of Youth and Sports through the Provincial Youth Coordinator, because when they read about Planet Startup and the activities that we were proposing to have in the Western Province of Zambia, I think it received the overwhelming response from the government departments, because that is a government's policy to empower young people with entrepreneurial skills, more especially under the Ministry of Youth and Sport. And that's how we started organizing the Planet Startup activities, where we started training the first 24 young people in Western Province. And so the young people that we recruited are the young people. Others were they just left school. Others, they were already doing some small businesses. Others, they are running restaurants. We have one young lady that is using the waste from the tailoring shops to make some materials, such as the handbags from the recycled materials, like from the waste. So this was something that was also helping the other fellow young people to be inspired. So it was something that really made us feel so proud and motivated and activated our zeal and desire to do more programs for the community. And besides that, there's something that you need to know, Levi. I was not just organizing the young people, but I was also learning the tools and also learning some programs, because you are aware that when we are running a non-profit organization, you also need to learn about other tools. So Dr. Gerard really inspired me and activated my online fundraising skills. So this is something that I really learned from Dr. Gerard, from his lessons, that I also took very seriously as the person that was running the program, so that I'm not just coordinating the activity, but also learning. And for your own information, from the lessons and the skills that I acquired during those lessons, I was invited in Kenya because of the success that we had also recorded in terms of the online fundraising from that time we had the training. I was invited by Good Deeds Day International, which is based in Israel, to go and make a presentation in Kenya on fundraising. And it was amazing how people got inspired, but with the skills and the experience that I'd gotten from Planet Startup.
So you were able to make or to utilize to the fullest the skills imparted to you, okay, by Dr. Gerald, by your entire engagement with Planet Startup. You're able to fully utilize that in, you know, like your own fundraising initiatives, and also you're able to share that to the rest of Africa. Through that event that you attended, you shared to them, right, some fundraising strategies, and the impact that, you know, you're creating with your own organization. Now, before we go further into that, because definitely you already have like under your belt several successful initiatives, and also you've created such a huge impact in bridging, you know, the gap in terms of literacy and also use of technology for children and youth there in Zambia. Before we go into that, can you share to us why you decided to pursue literacy education? You know, why you decided to pursue this, okay, as your main advocacy. So what brought you into this path?
Wow. One thing that I understand, Levi, is that people say if you want to keep somebody ignorant, don't give them information. So for me and my team is that we looked at literacy as one aspect of an individual's life that will help them to have an informed position about their life, about their community, about their future, about their family, when they have the information at their disposal. And how do they need to have the information? People need to read. It is very clear, like even when you look at it biblically, they say, how can they know if there's no one to teach them? And how do they understand if no one has taught them? So for me, from that aspect, it is something that we believe as an organization, that when you provide the skills, you provide the education to an individual, they will utilize that knowledge to help themselves. The knowledge that an individual can acquire, it also helps them to choose good leaders. It helps them to make decisions that affects their life positively and change the world. Because today, Levi, I'm interacting with you, I'm able to interact with Planet Startup because I've passed through the corridors of education. If there was no education, it was going to be even very difficult for us to communicate, because you don't even understand my language. I don't understand your language, but we are able to meet because there is another foreign language involved, which is English. So how the English acquired? We are not coming from English speaking country. So meaning you need to pass through formal education for you to understand. So that on its own is for a motivation for us to make sure that when we provide people with the information, it will help them and they will use the information to change their lives for better.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And exactly. And we just need to emphasize this as well, Alex, education being, an equalizer. Okay. We are
Yeah.
like, that is why, say for example, our partnership with your foundation, um, we are bridging several gaps, okay, in terms of access to education, access to technology. And we are really thankful, okay, that your foundation exists. You are there, okay, as boots on the ground, really extending your help and your support, okay, to be able to provide children and young adults access to use of computers, teaching them how to read. Okay, it's so commendable, okay, what you've been doing there. And it's also more than that, it's so very, like, it's very, very inspiring, right? What are your future projects right now in partnership with Planet Startup? What's in your pipeline right now?
Yeah, before I even look at the future of our partnership with the
Mm-hmm.
Planet Startup, I must mention that um, most of the students that have attended the lessons that we have had with Planet Startup, they are really doing well and utilizing the knowledge and skills that they have acquired to better their lives. We have the young people that have set up their restaurants. Other people, they have gone into recycling programs and other different businesses that they have developed with the information that we have acquired. And one thing that many entrepreneurs fail to do is to how to take their businesses online. And through the lessons and the trainings that they have acquired from Planet Startup, um, many young people are able to venture their businesses online and share their stories online, advertise using their variable social media platforms. Now, in responding to your question about the future, like currently, we with the information, the knowledge and skills that we have acquired, and most of the women that we have also trained on how to run their businesses. We have worked with the women, and those women that are also venturing into small businesses to support their families. So for me and my team, we are looking at to continue enhancing skills development and also uh, help particularly women uh, to learn their small business by establishing the like a relief fund or a microfinance, a micro credit facility, something that will help the vulnerable women to recover from the current economic shock impact on the vulnerable people. And I'm sure, as you are aware, most of the people that are mostly affected are the people in the informal sector. And for us, we are looking at our partnership to strengthen the skills and the capabilities of the vulnerable women and the young people to want to have access to financial capital, to have access to information. And we need to utilize also the virtual learning programs to make sure that we continue providing the training to the young people in Northwestern Province and also in Zambia as a nation, so that the young people, they understand how best they're able to change their lives. So those are some of the areas that we feel We really need to strengthen. Yeah.
Alex, is this does this mean to say that you are extending your services beyond child literacy, for example, or youth literacy? So now you're tapping the general, say, women's sector, and extending your services to this group, right?
Our approach is for the women, because we understand that this child that we are helping comes from a home. This child that we are helping, we can provide the literacy education to a child. We can provide the skills, but this child, if the child has no food, they say it is very difficult to teach a hungry stomach. So our approach is holistic. We are trying to look at the holistic approach where we are providing also a service to the women, so that the women have the resources to help their families, so that they're able to fight early child marriages. Because if we don't empower the women, meaning even the information that we provide to the child, it will be very difficult for the child to make an impact in that household, because it's coming from a vulnerable household. So we are trying to strengthen household economic development by empowering the women. The reason why we are focusing on the women and the children is that women are very good economic managers in their homes, because a woman is more passionate about helping their family. So, and that is the reason why our approach is more biased towards women, because we understand that sometimes men will just produce a child with a woman, even then they divorce a woman, they also divorce their children. But a woman will continue struggling until the children are raised and provided the necessary education. So that is something that we feel needs to be enhanced.
Alex, to date, okay, how many beneficiaries have you helped with these projects that you're partnering with Planet Startup? So how many children and young adults have you served in the area of literacy and capacity building?
Wow, with the our collaboration, as the area mentioned, has created a lot of impact, and has created a lot of impact. And we have, in terms of children, we have provided the literacy education programs to over about 1,500 children from the time that we started these programs. We have also helped over 500 women in terms of providing not only skills development, but also some financial support in terms of startup capital. That's something that we have already mentioned. And interestingly, we, like I mentioned, with the skills that we had learned with the Planet Startup on fundraising, it made us to fundraise about $5,000 from Global Giving, a fundraising platform that we have empowered over 500 women with the startup capital in the Solwezi district. And we have also trained about 3,000 farmers with the farmers business simulation trainings on how they have to learn farming as a business. So this is something that we feel, that's why our partnership with Planet Startup must be enhanced, so that we can reach more people that needs our services as an organization.
Yes, and your foundation is growing, growing not just with the number of beneficiaries that you're helping, that you're serving, but also with the linkages and partnerships that you're forming around the world. And we at Planet Startup, we're here, okay, to support you, to extend, okay, our resources in whatever capacity. We're here to, like, help you serve more adults, children, and this new group that you're tapping, the women. Yes. So, what is your message to those who, would want to extend their support, monetary, or their skill resources in any form? Okay. What is your message to those who want to support your organization?
Yeah, thank you so much, Levi. For all those that are listening to us, is that this world, we are living in a global village. What affects us all. What affects one person affects the community. So when for us to achieve all these things that we have achieved so far, it's because of the support we have received from the both individuals, Planet Startup, and other cooperating partners that have come through, either through our own sources or through partnership, that have said we are able to support you to be a better position to help the people. There is no story we could have talked about today without the support that you are rendering to Planet Startup and also to our organization. But when you gave somebody food yesterday, that doesn't mean they'll eat for good. We still need your support for us to continue bringing out successful stories in our community, for us to continue providing the services to the people that we are targeting. And we are just in a very facing very serious challenges around the world with the pandemic. So meaning every coin, every dollar counts in terms of providing the impact to the people that we support. And we are looking forward to make sure that we continue working together so that we continue in providing the financial and literacy skills to the people that we serve, both in Zambia, Africa, and the world at large.
All right. Okay, very well said, Alex. Thank you so much for your contribution to literacy. Thank you so much for your contribution to capacity building. Thank you so much for your contribution to elevating, the socio-economic conditions of the people there in Zambia. And yeah, the world needs more people like you, right? Okay. Thank you so much, for your dedication.
Thank you, Levi.
All right.
Thank you, Levi.
And to all our listeners, okay, any help that you'd want to extend to our partner organizations like Alex Foundation, feel free to visit our website. It's planetstartup.org. Okay, send us an email. Okay, we are also on Facebook, Planet Startup, and of course, here our YouTube channel. Okay, do send us a message. We are open to volunteers, donations, and any form of support in whatever capacity that you'd want to extend. Okay, feel free to get in touch with us. All right. Thank you, Alex, for this. Thank you for guesting. Okay, and thank you for sharing your story. All right.
Okay, thank you so much, Levi.
All right. More power to your activities there in Zambia. This has been another enriching episode of Planet Startup Stories. Okay, to all our listeners and followers, thank you for joining us in today's episode. Until next time. Bye. Thank you.